Okay, I think we can kick this off. So welcome everyone to this online event, AI-powered productivity with Google Agentspace. My name is Laura. I am the marketing lead at Devo team. And I can say that you're in for a very interesting hour with a sneak peek into the value that Agentspace can bring to your company and also a live demo. So very cool. Feel free to ask questions in the Q&A if you have them, and we will handle these in the last part of the call. But now, Matthias, you can go to the next slide. And to the next slide. So let me now introduce you to our speakers of the day. So I'll have Alexander, who is the Senior Partner Engineer at Google Cloud in the Nordics. And then we also have our very own Matthias, who is the technical lead at Devo team. So let's go, guys. I leave the floor to you now. Good luck.
Thank you so much, Laura. I hope everyone can hear me good enough. Name's Alexander, first of all. I work for Google Cloud. I've been with Google for about 8 years. Before that, I spent 5 years with Microsoft, and before that, I spent my entire career in information management and consulting. One of the things that I'm super happy about is the actual launch of Agentspace. I've been using an internal version of Agentspace for more than 5 years. It wasn't called Agentspace, it was called something internally. But one of my backgrounds was building intranets on top of SharePoint and SharePoint Online, and building information management system, document management system, and information retrieval systems. I really like a neat folder structure, if you were to ask me a few years ago. But ever since I joined Google, I came to realize that one of the things, a lot of the stuff that I was building was based on a misunderstanding of how to actually manage information. And what I'm super happy to do today is explain a little bit about how we think that Agentspace is going to be able to help you bridge some of the gaps that you're seeing in terms of understanding your information, gathering your information, and interacting with your information, and adding value on top of the current infrastructure that you already have. Generative AI, not to be confused with the AI that existed since the 17 and the 80s, have really taken the world by storm. So in 2013, something happened in the market where we're starting to receive these large language models that were able to understand information, they were able to be chatted with, they were able to actually be interacted with without having a PhD and without actually having to be a programmer. They really sparked innovation, creativity, and they were very, very helpful assistants to a lot of people. But from an adoption standpoint, we still see that a lot of people are not harnessing the power of these technologies in the correct way. And it is us, the actual vendors of these technologies, that are to blame. We brought a lot of the technology to the market, but actually how to make this technology useful is still on the shoulders of many of us. And one of the first steps in that is actually through Agentspace, which I'll be explaining a little bit more about in just a few minutes. Now, one of the things that I spent a lot of time in my previous life was really trying to understand, where is the data located? Where can I find the right information at the right time? I'm human, so whenever I need information about a particular topic, I go to one of my specialists. I go to a person within my organization that actually has the knowledge and the information needed to provide a summary of that information, so I don't actually have to go look for it myself. The next best option is to actually go looking for that information. Then I use search, which I do in Agentspace, and I search across multiple different locations to find my information. And that is actually usually very, very, very good. But it wasn't until up till a few years ago where we actually got the ability to have these search tools be conversational, where it was able to actually summarize the information and understand the intent behind it, and just not being keyword searches. What we're seeing today is that customers are really struggling because they're buying off-the-shelf products that solve different kind of business needs, and they're doing that very well. But the search functionality and the agent functionality is usually implemented directly into that product. But you have information that are scattered across multiple different different platforms and multiple different systems. So what you do is you go into every system one by one, trying to search and summarize the information. And what happens is that many times you actually find duplicate information, or, like I would like to say, you found outdated information because the information is scattered in multiple different places. Now, what we really want to do is help you avoid some of the challenges with this, making sure that there's a way for you to find the information in one place, be able to converse with that information and take action on that information in one place. We don't want to create a siloed environment. We want to create one interface for you to do it all, so to speak. And we also want to make sure that we help you mitigate the privacy and data security risks that come with this, actually integrating with your information management systems and your policies so that you don't feel like information needs to be stored in one specific place to be secure, but it could be accessed in multiple different places. We need to, how do I say, make all of the information available through one very, very easy interface. The fragmentation that comes if you don't do this is actually just a big hurdle to go through. So we need a way to make sure that AI actually unlocks the enterprise expertise, because we all know that we can go to some of the tools that are available on the internet. That could be Gemini from Google Cloud or from Google. It could be Claude from Anthropic, or it could be ChatGPT from OpenAI. And we know that these technologies are extremely powerful, but they don't know about our enterprise context. And here's the kicker. You can give them access to your enterprise context, but if you do, there's some privacy and security concerns that you actually have to think about. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that many of you who are on the call today might have actually shared something with these technologies that you were not necessarily supposed to share based on the privacy policies that you have in place at the company. But you did it anyways, because the return that you got from these technologies were just so great. So you're really trying your best to do the best work, but you don't really have the tools to connect your enterprise data to these technologies in the way that you would like. Now, some of you maybe do, but some of you probably don't. And that's where we're trying to help you here. So Agentspace is a conversational search experience. It is a web interface where you can go in, you can ask questions, you can search for information, you can converse with that information, and you can act with agents inside of Agentspace that have specific tasks that they can carry out for you. And the information, like I said, can be spread out in multiple different places. So you can think of it like your own internal Google search engine, but with conversational capabilities like the ones you've come to experience from Gemini, OpenAI, or Anthropic. Now, what this really does is gives you one unified experience to find information. So if you're looking for something, you can go in and type a keyword search, and Agentspace will behave just like a search engine and try to find and summarize that information for you across multiple different systems. We have more than 80 different pre-built connectors that we can use to connect to your enterprise systems and bring those in. So just to give you an example, I use Salesforce as a CRM. I use a lot of other different ticketing systems to deal with other information. And what I do in Agentspace is I just give it the information that I would like for you to pull up my 5 most urgent tickets that I need to be working on. And I need you to go to my CRM system and look up my 3 biggest customers and corroborate which of these things are actually important for me to work on today. Now, it already understands what that means. So it goes into Salesforce and it goes into Jira and pulls all of those things together. But it could be any system. This is just an example. What this also does is gives you the ability to connect to Notebook LM, which is a part of Agentspace that Matthias will be showing you later down the line. It's a very, very powerful tool that brings information together and gives you the ability to do either deep research or work through large amounts of information in the way that other notebooks or technologies are not able to do. It also centralizes all of your agents. It could be your HR agent, it could be your ticketing agent, it could be any kind of agent that you are either buying or going to be buying or developing, and connecting all of that into the same place. And Matthias will be showing a little bit of that later as well. So like I said, there are multiple different use cases that Agentspace can help you with, but I really want you to think about it as it is a way to find information, either through search or conversation. Think about the people in your organization that you go and talk to. Think about the conversations that you have with those people. Take those conversations and put them into Agentspace, and you'll see that a lot of the work that you probably do through those interactions can probably be done through the system. So finding information is one of the things that it's very, very good at because it understands your enterprise context. It is also very good at summarizing information because, let's be honest, we all have too much information that we need to deal with. So whether it's summarizing your email messages or summarizing a document or summarizing all of your tickets inside of your ticketing systems, it can do all of that for you. But not just that, it can actually connect all of those things together, like I explained earlier with my own example. It's also a tool for generation. When I say generation, it's about generating. It could be images, it could be videos, it could be presentations, or it could be other kinds of assets. Because Agentspace is also powered by Imagine and VO, which are two pieces of technology inside of Google that helps you create either movies or images. You can have it create images, and you can take that image, put it into VO, and then create small snippets of video based on that imagery. It is really is a powerful tool. It will be watermarked with your company, which means that it will be clearly stated that it's generated by you and that you have the rights to whatever was generated there. So it gives you a lot of generative AI capabilities that you can use to spend your time on, in other areas, whether that would be creating arts for your presentations or creating something for a marketing campaign if you're a marketer, for instance. But the most important part, and this is where some of the system integration work will have to happen, we have a tool called Agent Builder, which gives you the ability to build agents inside of your company. You can connect those to your enterprise systems and your enterprise data sources, and you tie them all together inside of Agentspace. And what Agentspace then does is utilizes those agents to create actions on your behalf. A really good example is that we have a customer in the telco industries, and the customer services agents need to perform tasks on the subscriptions of the customers. So maybe you call in, you say that you would like to make a change to your subscription, whether that would be long-range calls or whatever it is. Then that is actually transcribed through the system, and an agent actually picks that up, and then it asks the operator to say that, I found that this is probably what you want to do. Would you like me to change X into Y for this customer on the behalf of you? Yes, I will. And the agent will go out and do that, which is one of the extremely powerful benefits that you get here. But what we're seeing is that multiple customers have started building agents, but they're not tying the agents together. And this is what Agentspace can help you do from a compliance and security perspective. So how does it all work? We connect to multiple data sources. We look at your access control list. That would be the permissions of you as a user, which means that the agents or the system will never be able to interact with anything that you don't have permission to interact with. You don't need big service accounts that looks at everything. We actually index everything based on the permissions that you have. So when you're working through Agentspace with either the agents, the search, or the conversations, you will only be able to act on your behalf if it actually has access to the data that it's supposed to have access to. It doesn't matter which system it is. It could be Slack, Box, Google Drive, SharePoint, Jira, OneDrive, so many other different data sources. And there are also the ability to create bespoke connectors if you have a system that maybe isn't out of the box, maybe something that you've developed on your own, and you make the investment together with Devo team or someone else to actually connect to those data sources. So at the end of the day, it really brings together the Google search experiences that you probably used for a lifetime, together with the conversational experiences that you come to experience with the chatbots, and all of that on top of your actual enterprise data. You don't need to replace your intranet. Now, I would argue that maybe you could or should, but you don't have to. This could be something that you stick on top of your intranet or beside the intranet if that is something that you would like to do. It can also be a standalone tool that exists as part of your toolbox. And there are multiple different ways to integrate this into your environment. And like I said, this is also where you're going to be able to find all of the agents that are specific to you as a customer. Some agents will be pre-built by Google. Those would, for instance, be the deep research agents that you can use to create the research reports. But it could be your own agents and third-party agents that are coming very soon for other systems. Now, I've done a lot of talking, but I think it's time for Matthias to actually show you what this would actually look like. So Matthias, feel free to take it away.
Thank you, Alex. Hi, everyone. I have the pleasure to do the technical demo today. Actually, I always wondered, so maybe you can give some reactions, like give me a thumbs up if you're here to see a cool demo, and give me a thumbs up if you're hoping that something will go wrong and it's funnier and more exciting. Okay, well, I'm glad to see that. I'm in that group also, trying to present the screen here that I want. So let's jump straight into Agentspace here. So this is what the interface looks like for us in Devo-Team. Of course, we have the Devo-Team logo, so it's nice and branded, and it could be my homepage, right? It shows my upcoming meetings and some of my recently visited documents. And I can jump straight into work here. So I recently got a question from one of my colleagues about our specific offering around the generative AI hackathons. We do a lot of generative AI hackathons, so it makes sense that they were interested in it. So I couldn't really answer him from the top of my head. So I can come here and just ask Agentspace, tell me about our Gen AI hackathon offering. And when I do that, you can see that it searches across multiple sources. So it looks in our Confluence. It also looks in our Google Drive and GitHub and Jira and Slack and many other sources. So here I could also restrict it to only look in specific places I want. But of course, right here, I just want to know more about this offering. So and any source is great. And I get also the references, so I can see that it's not hallucinating or it's not coming up with things on its own, but it's actually finding these in different sources. But of course, that's great, but this doesn't stop there. So I can ask it something like how much, like a follow-up question, how much time would it do these hackathons take? So that was the specific question I got from my colleague. And then Agentspace will tell me that it can be either a 1-day hackathon or 2-day hackathons. So that's great. Of course, I want to tell this to my colleagues, so I can just ask Agentspace to do it because it's an agent. So it can interact with the world and it can do actions for me. So I can say, great, send this in an email to Simon French. And Agentspace will think a little bit. It will fetch Simon's email address. So I didn't have to specify the email address. It can look that up for me. And it will create the email. So it has all the information that I asked it. And I can just send this email. Now I also want to expand a little bit on this offering. So I can work on a longer version, for example. And to do that, I can tell Agentspace to create a Jira ticket for me. And you see here, I have to authorize Agentspace to do actions on my behalf. But it would then be able to, if I authorize this, then it would be able to create this ticket. Of course, I can edit this here. I can also ask Agentspace to edit the ticket for me. So that's great. It can also create a meeting if I want to for next week to explain the details to Simon or to discuss how to extend the offering with someone else. But I also know that we want to do this for some customers. Then I can also ask it to generate an image, for example. And then I'm going to get a nice image that's generated by Imagen. And I can take that image, as Alex mentioned, this is watermarked, so I can just use this nice image to share with the customers to make them a little bit more pumped for the upcoming hackathons. So there's a lot of different capabilities in here already, and one of the neat things is that this is extendable, so you can create your own agents with low-code and no-code tools that are already available in Google Cloud Console, so you might be familiar with those tools. One agent that comes out of the box is this deep research. So if I want to know more about a specific topic, then I can use this deep research agent to look up some information on the web and give me a more detailed answer on a topic. So far, we have interacted with data within our Devo team space, so in Confluence and Drive. So this was based on content that we have created already. But let's say I want to know some market trends for IT security, for example. I could just tell the deep research agent to get me the latest market trends for IT security. I hope it doesn't mind that I made a typing error. Looks like it doesn't, so it gives me a research plan. I can ask it to update the research plan if I don't like it. I can ask it to extend, to include more things. For example, include upcoming trends for 2025. Nice, it included that in the research plan. And I can just click Start Research. So this is going to take a while. Basically, what this deep research agent does is that it goes out to the World Wide Web and looks for different sources and reads those sources for me. In real time, you can see as it's thinking. And it even gives, of course, always the reference where it found these different claims. And then once it's done, I will get a nice summary. This takes a little while, as you can see, but not too long. Definitely faster than if I would do this research. It might take me a whole day to read all these sources and web pages and filter out what's interesting and what's not. So you see here, this is turned on to search the web, also use Google search. You can restrict it to not do that, but in this case, of course, I want to know more than what we have in our internal systems. All right, I think it's coming to an end. Last topic that it's researching, probably. And you can see based on the research plan and what it finds, it updates a little bit. So the research details are dynamically generated. And here is my final report summarizing all the key findings from its research. And what I can do then is, okay, this is maybe still a bit too long. Of course, it's a nice summary, but I can, for example, take the whole summary if I think it's too long. There's an executive summary here at the end. but I can always just create a new conversation with Agentspace and ask it to summarize this. So summarize this for me. And then it will summarize the findings of the deep research agent. And I can still ask follow-up questions. So create an action plan to improve my security posture. Great. So here I get a nice little action plan that I can use to improve. And then, as Alex mentioned, another neat feature is this notebook LM. You might have seen this. This has been around for a while for consumers. This is the interface that you will encounter when you try out Notebook LM. And I have two notebooks here. So I have one that was shared with me, and I have one that I created myself. If I come here, I have some previous conversation, but on the left side, if you look at it, this is where I have all my different sources. So I control all the sources that I add here. I can add Google Docs, Google Slides, links to websites, YouTube videos, or any text I want. I can paste here markdown files, audio, so many different sources. Already here I have some slides and some docs and different things. And it gives a little bit of a summary from everything as a neat little feature in the middle. And then I can ask it some questions. So I already asked it, how would an Agentspace implementation project look like? And it gave me some details, again, with the links to the relevant documentation. So here you can see the plan on a page. So I can just click this and go through to the slide if I want to, that this statement is based on. But I get the whole plan here. And once I have this implementation project plan, let's say, I can ask it to create a marketing plan based on this. Now, you can imagine if I would like to do this without the help of AI, I would have to read all these documents and come up with all these different project plans and marketing plans. It could take several days or even a week to do something like this. And with Agentspace, I get this very easy to work with interface. Now you can save these as the different notes here on the right side. I have different notes that you can auto-generate, like a study guide or an FAQ. For example, if you have a sales team and you have these documents about an offering, then you can paste all those documents in here, and you can generate a study guide for them so that they can self-study to prepare for whatever customer meetings that you have. You can also generate an FAQ if you want to post on your website about your products or anything. It's a very nice thing. Now, one futuristic, if you will, kind of feature is this audio overview. I think this also went viral, so you might have heard of it, but it's really interesting to see this in action. So I will try to do this. I don't know if you can hear the sound. Please let me know if you can hear the audio. All right, can you hear? No audio. All right, let me fix that real quick. So this is automatically generating a discussion between two people based on all this. It's like a podcast
right here, ready to break down what Agentspace is all about and see if it's the right fit.
Exactly. We're going to unpack it all.
So let's jump right in.
Perfect.
Cool. But you can see this is like 36 minutes. So it's fairly long. One neat use case I found for this, I was going to a meeting with a customer, It was the first meeting, and they sent me an audio file in email. They were like, hey, while you're on the commute, maybe you want to listen to this 5-minute podcast about our company and what we do. And that was, I think that was a really nice thing that they shared with me. So I could, while I was going to the meeting, I could recap kind of what happened. So you can create these notebooks about your specific customers or whatever topic you're into, and then just listen to these 5-minute recaps on commute. And this interactive mode that's in beta is also very interesting. So here the two hosts, AI hosts, will be talking about this, and I can interrupt at any time and ask questions. So I'm just going to demo this as well. Pretty neat feature.
All right, so you're ready to see if AI can give your business that extra edge, and Google Agentspace has caught your eye.
You've heard the buzz, seen the demos, and now it's time to take a deep dive.
We've got all the technical docs and resources right here, ready to break down what agents... Hey there, want to share your thoughts on this?
Hey, yeah, can I add my own integrations to Agentspace?
That's a fantastic question. It's definitely something you can do.
Yeah, it's all about making Agentspace work best for you.
As we mentioned earlier, Agentspace offers extensible agent integration.
Okay, let's unpack this. So that means you're not just stuck with pre-built connections.
Exactly. You can have both pre-configured and custom-built agents to automate even...
All right. So you can see that you can interact with this podcast episode. You're not just listening to it, you're also part of it, and you can ask follow-up questions, and it reacts to your specific questions. So I think this is a super nice way to learn more about a specific topic once you have all the resources here. So maybe this whole session could have been just a shared notebook, and you guys could have listened to two agents talk to each other and ask questions instead of listening to Alex and me. I think that's it for the demo. So we have a few more slides that we want to share with you. Let me bring that up. Back to you, Alex.
Thank you, Matthias. Can you add me back as co-presenter so I can?
Yes, of course.
One of the things that I really like about Notebook LM is that while me and Matthias, we of course work in very heavy information heavy industries, which means that we have to deal with more and more information every day, but just having the ability to add everything that you want to work on. So what I do is I take different projects that I'm working on, and then I add everything that would be meeting transcripts, that would be slides, that would be any kind of collateral that I think is important. And then I use Notebook LM to just strategize how I'm going to break down all of this information and actually make it useful. But I also just want to go out on a limb here and say that while we're talking about this in a business context, I just like to open your eyes to what technology actually can do. Just think about, so I mean, I have 2 children, they go to school, right? And sometimes they're not really good at reading, how do I say, information that comes from the school books. Just being able to put that digital content into something like Notebook LM, then make it very, tell it that I would like for you to create a podcast with either 2 people or 1 person that talks specifically about page 26 to 32. Just give that to a kid that has, maybe doesn't want to read things, but can actually listen to things. And this child now has the ability to actually take in all of this information. It's just being given to them in another source. So while we really are talking about things in a business context, I really, really want everyone on this call to think about the opportunities that AI can bring to your, to your society, to your friends, to your school, to people that you talk about. This technology, it has a lot to bring. But I'm going to bring it back to the business context again, but just wanted that to share with you, because if you understand how these technologies work and make them approachable to everyone, we together we can make a huge impact. Let's put it that way. So What you saw were just some of the default Agentspace agents that were already built in. They didn't have to be pre-configured. The only thing that they had to do were be connected to the systems and authorized by the other systems, and that's being taken care of by your integration and access management system. So whether you are on Microsoft environments, and maybe you're using Active Directory, or I think it's called Entra today, that is something that we integrate with. So you don't actually have to bring any other IAM into this. We connect to the IAM that you already have, of course. So those are the default agents. Then we have the Google pre-made agents, and one of those that you saw were the ability to do the deep research agents. And those agents are customizable, but only to a very, very certain extent. What you might want to do is look at the build your own agents, which is something that you would do with Agent Builder, which is something that we're going to be showing you probably in a later webinar. And that's where you have the ability to actually give it the instruction that you would like it to have and make sure that that agent actually behaves in the way that you want. So there's multiple ways to go here. For Notebook LM, like you just saw today, you saw the ability to actually condense a lot of information, bring that information home, chat with it, talk to it, and actually make an audio podcast. What I do is I take the financial reports of my customers and I put them into Notebook LM. Then I ask the 5 key things that I want to get out of that podcast, and I add those as notes. Then I make it run the podcast, and then I have something to listen to on the way home on the actual train. Maybe I'm working too hard. But the thing is that you need to make sure that the technology works for you. There are so many things that you can do. Figure out what you are spending a lot of time on that you could probably offload to this tool. And give it a shot. You're not going to be perfect in using these tools when you start using them for the first time. But if you try, ask for a little bit of help, and actually try different strategies in terms of using these tools, you're going to find that your use cases for these tools might be different from the use cases that me, Matthias, or someone else actually has. But the key benefits, as you saw, this keeps your data private and secure. It only acts on the data that it has access to. It doesn't go out on the web and search for information if it doesn't need to. It actually looks at the data that you have. So you are not sharing your private and confidential data with anyone. You are just talking to it inside of Notebook LM. This is the big difference compared to if you're taking your information that you have in your company and you're putting that into ChatGPT or something from Anthropic, that would be Claude, or putting into Gemini.google.com with your consumer email addresses. When you're doing that, your company data becomes training data for the companies. Don't do that. This is a way that you're able to do exactly what you need to do, but you do it in a safe, secure environment. So it's grounded in your information. It doesn't make anything up. If it doesn't find the information in the document that you share, Agentspace will tell you, I don't know, which is one of the most powerful thing a large language model will do. It will tell you, I don't know. And then you know that you don't have the right information. What you could be asking it, what kind of information do you need? It can then tell you what information it needs, and now you can go into the loop of actually procuring that information. So it's all about making sure that the information works for you in a secure and private way. So you've seen some of the different use cases today. But as you probably come to realize that while me and Matthias are super enthusiastic about this, there's an adoption journey that comes with this. So everyone is going to have different use cases, but depending on who you are and what kind of roles you have, we have some idea on what you might probably be using for this. So what we did at Google, we took 4 different kinds of departments inside of a company: sales, software teams, marketing, and HR. And we were looking at what kind of systems could these kind of functions actually be interacting with. And no matter which systems you're interacting with, no matter what use cases you have, those use cases can in many instances be served by Agentspace. But it is important to make sure that every individual gets the training that they need on how to actually use these things. Because just like we needed to learn ourselves how to Google, which is actually a verb in many parts of the world, it's amazing. We're going to have to do the same thing with Agentspace, going from keyword searches to actually more conversational experiences. So what I encourage everyone to do is think a little bit about what you heard today. Think about the specific business challenges that you have inside of your company. Reach out to us at Devoteam and Google and talk about how we might be able to help you achieve a better working environment, because we do believe that this is the new way to work. Like I said, we've been using this kind of technology inside of Google for a long time, which increases the productivity of all Googlers by a large amount. But I'm super happy to see that we actually finally decided to make a product out of it. Ever since I joined Google, I've been talking to them about the SharePoint intranets and everything. And Google was like, yeah, maybe we'll make a product out of it one day. And now it's finally here. And I think this is going to be one that we're going to be pouring investment into, because it really, really helps people do better things at the job than just doing menial tasks that someone else can perform for you. So that's everything I have from a presentation perspective. What we would like to do now, and me and Matthias, is make sure that we address any questions that you have. But thank you so much for listening. So maybe, Matthias, maybe you could bring up the Q&A part.
Yeah, definitely. I can read some questions and then we can decide who answers them.
Yeah, sure.
So I guess first question that I think is for more like Laura and Jayat. Will the slide deck and recording be made available after the session?
Yes, so the recording will definitely be shared, and there will be a very interesting article made of this online event that you will be able to read afterwards, and will also be sent to you. So no worries there. We got you.
Yeah. Thank you. Next question. How many languages and conversation styles are available for the audio feature? Conversation styles as in cultural nuances in having a dialogue. So currently, I think only English is supported. You can choose for conversation style things like analyst or guide or some custom, where you can add your own instructions on how you want it. So like if you want it a PhD level or a role playing, or maybe two pirates talking, something like that. So that you can add yourself, but
That's totally correct, Matthias. So Google is an American company, so you're going to see a lot of American accents and a lot of ways that American interacts. One of the key things that we are making sure that we do is bring multiple language support into this, and making sure that language support is as good as it can be. So you should expect other languages to come. I am sorry to say that we're going to be doing this in terms of how big the language actually is. So if you're looking for language support in a language that is maybe not as broad as French, Spanish, or American, it might take a little bit more time. But all the Nordic languages are on the roadmap. I don't know exactly how long it will make them to hit the product, but they definitely are there, because otherwise the product is not necessarily useful for everyone. We are actively gathering feedback as well from our users on the tonality and what they would like to see from this feature. The audio feature is in beta, and we're going to keep it in beta even though it's a fully fledged feature, because we want to make sure that we cater to as many styles as possible.
Thank you. Next question. Are the provided agents customizable? So Alex touched on this during the presentation, that the out-of-the-box agents are, there is a little bit of customization, but not too much, but you can always create your own agents with Agent Builder. So that is fully customizable.
Yeah, and I think, Thomas, to that point as well. So in terms of customizability, what you're gonna be wanting to look at is what we call Agent Builder, which is the tool that gives you a power user tool set to build the agents just like you want, and then connect them into Agentspace. So that's probably what you might want to look at, because the flexibility that you're going to see with the pre-built agents are. Look, it's pretty basic. So the customized agents are probably what you'll be looking for, but you'll be pleasantly surprised how easy it is to bring your own customized agents into Agentspace. So we foresee that there's going to be so many agents, but there's going to be a few agents that are better than the others. So we're all kind of on a journey to help each other build what we call good agents. Your IT departments or your developers will be able to provide you with pre-packaged API access to your different systems, so that anyone that actually creates these agents will be able to use those API integrations in their agents, basically democratizing access to external systems. That's where a lot of governance work comes in, but there's so many exciting things that we're going to be able to do to help customers build more productivity tools.
Yeah,
I think
great.
we might have skipped one, right, from Tor Inge about continuously monitoring a topic.
Yeah, I was going in an arbitrary order. So yeah, we can answer that one. So continuously monitoring a topic. I guess you mean that for the deep research agent in Agentspace, right? That is currently a one-off thing that it does the research. So it's not continuously monitoring the topic.
Yeah, I think in terms of continuously running an agent, whether that would be on external data or internal data, that is not something that is supported right now, but it's very, very high up on the roadmap to make sure that you have the ability to have a continuous agent running. What we're trying to figure out here is just what pieces of functionality to bring and how to bring it to the product, but it's on the roadmap.
Yeah, I think this was the first question asked today. So let's take this one. Is there a connector for the ticketing platform Freshdesk? So the answer is
there's for FreshBooks, but not to Freshdesk, I'm afraid. I'm afraid.
Not yet, at least. Then of course.
Yeah.
And if you need help building a connector, we can help you, of course, with the custom agents. So yeah, that's possible. And then one more question. So how will Agentspace be priced? Per user licensing or based on integrations and some other sort of consumption? Yeah, currently it is a per user license pricing model for this Agentspace.
Yeah, and this is very much when Google started looking at the pricing model, we very early decided that we don't want to put the risk on the customer. You might have some very, very heavy users inside of your company that will drive a lot of cost on the back end, and you shouldn't be punished by that. It's supposed to be a productivity tool, so it's per user based with no limits in terms of how you actually use the tool. So everyone can use it as much as they want. It will still be the same cost every month, but then there will be tiers. Not in terms of how much you can use it, but just how much functionality. For the easier tier, you won't get the audio transcriptions inside of Notebook LM, for instance, but that's where we're putting it. We're not putting arbitrary limits on it. So per seat user-based licensing.
All right, that was the last question in the Q&A. Anyone has a question they want to ask live or? No? Okay. I guess then the call to action is that if you want to, look at the Agentspace and how it could support your specific business, then of course we're super happy to help. So just reach out to us and we can, with our proven approach to implementation projects around internal productivity tools and these sort of, I don't want to say chatbot, but chatbot experiences and these making sure, that the change is sticky and we do proper change management and adoption inside the company so that your investment, you have the return on the investment, and we help with trainings and all that. So if you're interested in how to do that and what's the best approach, what do we recommend, just reach out to us and we can help you discover how this can give you all the benefits that Alex and me are already enjoying in our daily lives.